Shout out Ron Swanson. Where he takes a picture of Big Ben and he's like, oh, look, a clock. We don't have that in America. So on to the wild card of the division, the New York Jets. We talked about how good the Miami roster was. On paper, another team that one of the best rosters in football, top to bottom. I mean, Sauce Gardner, absolute freak. Garrett Wilson, absolute freak. Both coming into their sophomore seasons. Quinnen Williams, one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Aaron Rodgers. Bryce Hall was absolutely unstoppable last year when he was healthy. CJ Mosley was a big-time acquisition 3 or 4 years ago. He got hurt. Then he didn't play COVID season. Last year's kind of getting the wits about him. If he can even come back to 80.
I mean, so he was pretty good last season. It was 2 seasons ago when he was back and everyone thought he was washed.
Yeah.
Last year he impressed.
Yeah, so I mean
with a bounce back.
Yeah, so I mean if he
fun fact though, guy playing next to him, Quincy Williams, is Quinnen Williams' brother.
Is that true?
I just learned that the other day. Yeah.
Very true? Or are you fucking with me?
No, that's true.
Oh. See,
unless someone was fucking with me.
I was about to say that because I was like, then you have the Williams brothers there, and I was like, but yeah, and then I mean, just pretty good everywhere, to where it's like, yeah, they brought in Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers wasn't great last season, objectively.
But
how
the physical drop off was not bad.
Yeah,
like
no, physically there.
Physically
he was all there. So how good if you look at the best Aaron Rodgers seasons and the worst Aaron Rodgers seasons, his worst season being a 1, his best season being a 10. What kind of Aaron Rodgers do we need to see to win this division, get the over, and be legitimate Super Bowl contenders? Because I would say an Aaron Rodgers on a 5. Yeah, maybe even a 1. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' worst season gets this team in the playoffs. His worst career season.
Does it make him a playoff or a Super Bowl contender?
Like based on what they did last year. No, his worst season doesn't make them a Super Bowl contender, but he gets them to the playoffs.
Okay, so how good of an Aaron Rodgers do we need to see to be a Super Bowl contender? Maybe hit an average Aaron Rodgers season? Which is him getting to
8.
An average Aaron Rodgers season is making a deep playoff run and losing in heartbreaking fashion.
So, to me, to be a Super Bowl contender, you need to realistically have me sitting there saying they can win the Super Bowl, which means Aaron Rodgers needs to be nearly as good as Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Like,
Does he though?
That's what I see.
Because then you look at the rest of the. So I mean, hypothetically,
but
in a bracket,
like he needs to be in his top end.
Yeah. So okay, so they win the division, so they're gonna probably play a wild card team. So let's say the wild card team they play is somebody else in their division, because I think they get in at least 3. So let's say they play Bills or Miami at first. So I mean that's tough. And then second round, you're probably looking at some combination of Chargers, Chiefs, Jags. I mean, it's going to be a tough run. But, I mean, I think wholly as a team, as long as you mitigate mistakes from the quarterback position and play good football, I think they have a good head coach. We'll see if Hackett can hack it. I don't know.
I have a spiel on that. So Hackett has mentioned that the Jets are using a lot less motion than the Packers did with Aaron Rodgers, and the playbook should be pretty similar because Hackett was from Green Bay. Like Hackett was there the last few years with Rodgers until last season.
They're supposedly best friends.
And they're taking a lot of the motion out of the offense, and that's kind of what Green Bay's whole offense relies on. Is like, you think back to the Devontae Adams stuff, it was all about motioning in the matchups and getting Devontae to places where he could eat.
Yeah.
Like, so I have a lot of questions about that.
But Devontae is also a different receiver.
A lot of that out. He is, but like it's not just Devontae. Like it's that offense helped Devontae too.
Yeah.
Like not to say that Devontae's one of the best receivers in the game, but that offense helped him too. And you start taking that out, I start to question what the offense is, because that offense, that's such a key part of it. And like even last season, the Packers ranked 8th in the NFL in motion usage.
Yeah.
In 21 and 20, they were top 5 in motion usage. It's just odd to me that they're taking that much out, and that's on Rodgers' request. I'm sure Rodgers has been on the record saying he doesn't like all that motion, and he's gonna have a ton of say in what the Jets are running. And that could be awesome, or it could be not so great. You see Hackett's offense with Russ Wilson getting a lot of say. And Russ Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are very different people, but it wasn't good.
Yeah,
you know.
So but then you also have to look at the fact of, if you get Bryce Hall back to even 70% of what he was last year, good Lord, then if Michael Carter can look like rookie Michael Carter as a complimentary
and if you can't, you got Abanakinda.
Yeah, you got other people in mind. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if Bryce Hall can be the bell cow that he, not even be what he was last year, you can't expect that off. But I mean, he's also very young, so maybe he can be what he was last year. But I mean, if that's the case, and then you look, I mean, I think Garrett Wilson is an emerging superstar. I don't think he is an emerging superstar.
Yeah.
And then you have Corey Davis, Alan Lazard, Denzel Mims is still there.
Mecole
Hardman, Randall Cobb. I mean, they have depth for days at the skill positions. A worry about this O-line. Mekhi Becton, historically overweight, was an absolute freak his rookie year, just mauling people. And just, I don't know if it's discipline or what, but can't keep the weight off. Doesn't really seem to have the work ethic. Moved him to right tackle.
Bet you he does this year.
Yeah.
He wants that new money.
He does.
Contract year, baby.
But
he's coming for it, man. He's coming for that cash.
I love Javere Tucker a lot. We'll see how Brown does coming in at left tackle. But all in all, like, it's at plus 280. I probably like Miami a little bit better, but still not a bad bet. And
so
9.5 wins.
On the line here,
I think they're right at 10. So I'm taking the over with caution. Probably not gonna like hammer it, but I mean, I don't see how they don't get to 10 wins here.
Yeah, I'm avoiding it. I just counted it up. I counted 10, but that could be like, I mean, that's just based on eye tests. Like, and I will say, I love what they did with the O-line this year. They have contingency plan after contingency,
which is good.
Dwayne Brown goes down, flip Mekhi Becton to left tackle where he's played before. You got Billy Turner, a seasoned vet, sitting behind him. Becton and Brown go down. Elijah Vera Tucker can kick out to left tackle. Billy Turner at right tackle. Connor McGovern at right guard, who is a solid football player. Connor McGovern's just sitting on your bench right now, assuming Joe Tippmann wins that center job. And then they got Max Mitchell on the bench. Got thrown into action as a 4th-round pick last year.
I love their Will McDonald pick in the first round too, on the edge.
Oh yeah, I mean that Will McDonald was my favorite player, arguably my favorite player in the draft, outside of like the top 3 guys, 4 guys, whatever. And then, but they also signed Wes Schweitzer, who can fill in at center or either guard spot. Like they got depth on this O-line. Even though their starters are shaky, I really like the reserves that they have, and they're going to be able to sustain some.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Jets this year too.
On the D-line, Will McDonald's that dude.
Yeah.
Don't doubt it. But Will McDonald is that
as dude. Much as Miami's schedule breaks their way at almost every point, kind of the opposite here. You start out 2 tough games going. You got Buffalo at home, then you go to Dallas, then you have a division game versus New England, then you're home versus Kansas City, and then you go to Denver, you go to Mile High after 4 really, really tough opening games, and then to Philly, then an early bye week. You go all the way across the street to the New York Giants. Tough tough road game going to the Giants for them. And then you're home versus the Chargers. You didn't give me no reaction to that.
Sorry, I was spacing out for a second.
But then, yeah, I mean, your entire schedule's after the bye, basically, which sucks. Giants, Chargers, Raiders, Buffalo, Miami, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Washington, Cleveland. And there's definitely a lot of winnable games after the bye, but it sucks that you could potentially be going into the bye week, like 2-5?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough start for them, man. It's not,
but
and I mean, especially when you consider, like Kyrie was saying, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers getting used to new receivers. Everyone's new in this offense except for maybe Rodgers and Lazard, but even then, it's going to be different than what they were running previously. And rookie center on top of that, like O-line that really doesn't know each other that well, haven't played that many games together. There's a lot of worries for me in the early part of the season, and they could really struggle before their bye week.
Yeah, so we talked about the total. We're kind of skeptical on it. Playoffs, I'll throw this team in the playoffs. I mean, it's a minus 130 bet, and it's probably my favorite bet for this team because I think they can win 9 games to make the playoffs, so don't love the total. And I don't love the division odds at plus 280. I'd rather take the Dolphins at plus 300. It's probably not taking that. And then Aaron Rodgers notoriously chokes in conference championship games, so I'm probably not taking that. So I think this is a playoff team, and I'll just lay the juice and take the minus 130 that they make the playoffs. That's probably the only bet that I really like here.
So I was just sitting here like lamenting a decision here because, like, on one hand, I like the way this roster's built, but on a different hand, it's the Jets.
It is the Jets,
and it just reminded me. This time a year ago, we were looking at the Jaguars. We were looking at the Giants. I was sitting here saying, like, man, this roster's built well, but they're the Giants.
But when we were talking about the Giants and the Jaguars, you look at the rest of the division, and you were like, oh, Jags have an opening here, or oh, the Giants have an opening here. You look at this division, I mean, out on paper, they're the third best team, which I don't. Maybe it's just due to the quarterback. I don't know how their division odds are better than Miami's. Is it just O-line and quarterback?
I mean, I think it's quarterback. It's Tua.
Yeah, but
it's the uncertainty around Tua. That's the reason they're ahead of them. That's the only reason. I mean, gun to my head, I'm probably saying yes to playoffs, but I'm not. I'm losing sleep over it.
Yeah,
you know.
But that's my favorite bet out of all these bets. I mean, I don't like them to win the AFC. That 9.5 total. If it was at 9.
Yeah, if I could push on a 9,
I'd probably bet it. And then, like I said, if you're just looking at value, assuming you're only going to bet one team out of these 4 to make the playoffs, I'm probably taking the Dolphins at plus 300. I think the Dolphins are better than the Jets. So the fact that the Jets have worse odds, I mean, I'll take the Dolphins.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just sitting here saying Robert Saleh's defense is really beat up on bad QBs and average QBs, but I'm not sure that they beat good QBs or like that they shut down guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as well as some other defenses. But I feel like Vic Fangio's defense, I know Vic Fangio's defense can hurt Aaron Rodgers.
What I will say
with my own 2 eyes.
We'll get to the NFC's talk in a couple of weeks, but the fact that Aaron Rodgers has to come to Dallas week 2 is the stupidest thing in the world.